Hello friends, in this video I will be talking about callback hell problem in JavaScript and how you can solve this problem using promises and async await keywords. So let's get started. To explain the problem of callback hell, we have got very simple example here. What we want to do is, say for example, we want to read the file. After reading the file, we want to extract first 10 characters of that file and then write that 10 characters in a separate file. Okay. And then third task that we want to do is we want to get the size of the newly created file. So there are three things that we want to do. Task 3 depends on task 2 and task 2 depends on task 1. So here you can see we have got this file system models read file method, and this is the file that we want to read, and we are using the callback here, as you can see. So after the task 1 is completed, next thing we want to do is we want to extract the first 10 characters. So we have used the slice method, and then we are using the write file method. So write file is again callback based method. So here you can see another callback we have created. Here we are just checking if there is any error or not. And after the new file is created, you can see this f2.txt is the file that we are creating. And then once that new file is created, what we want to do is we want to get the size of that particular file. So there is a method called a stat, fs.stat, with the help of which we can get the statistics of the file. And one of the property on that statistics object is size. So you can see I'm printing it here. So as you can see, there are three tasks, and each task 3 is dependent on task 2 and task 2 is dependent on task 1. And if you can see, this is the callback hell problem. So if there are a lot of tasks, like say if there are 10 tasks and they are dependent on each other, then you can imagine like this particular code will keep on growing and growing and growing, and that is called as callback hell problem. So to solve this problem, what they did is that they introduced the promises and then async await. So first of all, I'm gonna show you how you can use the promises to fix this problem. So but before that, let me execute this code. So there are three tasks, and task 1, task 2 and task 3 executed in sequence because they are dependent on each other. Now let us try to see how we can use the promises to write the code in a better way. So here I have got the promises implementation. So you can see here this code is looking much better than the previous code, right? So if you see this one, this is called as callback hell. If there are a lot of dependent functions or things that we want to do, this code will keep on growing and it will be a mess to maintain it. So if you can see the promises example here, this is how it looks like. This is much better. Like you can read it in a better way, and it is very easy to understand as well. So we are using the promises. The file system model has got two versions. One is based on the callbacks and one is based on the promises. So you can see here I'm using fs.promises thing, and then I'm reading the file. So after reading the file, promises object is created, promise object is created, and then you can use this method then which returns the actual data that has been read from the file. And then after this, we are extracting the 10 characters and writing the new file. After new file is created, what we are doing here is, you can see here we are returning the promise. Again it returns the promise, and then we are checking if there is any error, and then here we are calling this stat method. So that will return the stats object. Again it is a promise, so we are returning that, and then in this particular method we are accessing that stats object. So you can see if you compare this code with the callback based, it is much easier to read. Async await is better than even promises. So let us see how we can implement the same thing in the async await. So here we have got the another implementation in async await, and you can see this code is much cleaner and the less code is there actually. So you can see it is easy to read, easy to maintain. So what we are doing is, here we are reading the file, then writing the new file by extracting the 10 characters and then getting the stats, and then just printing the size of that particular file. So very easy with async and await, and that's why people prefer to use async await with when using like working with the promises. So I'm just going to run this and then see the output. So you can see this thing is printed by the callback function, and then this is by the promises, and this is by async await. So in each case the size is 10. So that is the way you can use the async await keywords to write the code in much better way, even better than promises and callbacks as well.